video. This is going to be the unedited one, so it's a bit of a ramble maybe, but it'll be edited into a TikTok reel. So you can catch that if you just want the hits. So this video is going to be split into 3 parts. It's going to be how quiet time allows you this space to be the noticer of your inside world, noticer of your thoughts, noticer of how your emotional response, how you're showing up on the inside, how you feel, mind, heart, belly, muscles, skin. And when you become the noticer of your inside world, and you can start to answer that question, why? And that question can be directed towards a lot of things. But when you're the noticer of your inside world, you can wonder why maybe you're having a certain response to certain things that are showing up. You can just ask, why you're so determined maybe to have a certain outcome. But that question, why? What a great question as far as living day in this space of possibility versus this space of fear. So value, when we ask why, we can usually get to our values. And then there's the external conditions and the internal conditions. As far as an external condition of value and worth could be money, and an internal condition of value and worth could be this state of well-being, open mind or clear mind, open heart, stable belly, alert and relaxed muscles, and skin, calm, safe, comfortable. And then I want to tie this up with this making YouTube videos and connect it to kids who say they want to be a creator, say they want to be a YouTuber. All right, so the why. So I started this professional development class, and the very first video was an older video, a TED Talk by Daniel Pink. So, and the basic gist of the video was that when we think about what we do and how we spend our day, we know we know what we do, we know how we do it, but do we question why? So we kind of had those 3 circles. So going through like this mechanistic kind of experience of day, this linear path, we may be very determined on our, like how we show up or how we do day, but it's based on like this, we know what we do and we know how we do it, but do we go back and question why? And when results in life are showing up that are limiting, those usually get our attention to finally get us back to our why. So when we question why we do something, it could get to our values. So there's this anger curriculum that I'm working on with a couple kids, how to transform your anger, goes in. I love goes in. So, and this course is called Go Charge, but it's when you become the noticer of your anger, you can soothe it. So anger, heat, and a couple really easy soothing breaths are like, if you think of heat, anger, and you think of like a candle flame, just breathing out. So you're soothing your response, blowing out the flame. But then also when you take like a sip of breath in, it's a cooling breath. So you could think of the heat, cooling off the heat. But then once you soothe the response, what is the indicate? Why is the anger showing up? What is the anger indicating? So if you have this huge reaction to something, what's the indicator? Because underneath that, there's a why, and there's probably something you value. So with like kids at school, if they really get mad because the kids aren't following the rules, like in certain games that they're playing, and they get angry because the kids aren't following the rules, that could indicate that what that kid values is fairness. So when you start to problem solve that way, you start to grow your sense of self, like what matters to you, and think about ways to cultivate that are contributing, instead of when you react to that anger, it's that opposite of contributing, creating like that people may feel a little bit fearful of you. And kids are growing up. They need to be figuring out these emotions and having these conflicts. But aside from that, so value. So an external condition of value and worth could be money, right? So if money is value, we exchange money for value. So value for value. And that can be when you take quiet time and you start to just examine how things are showing up. You can ask yourself, like, what is my relationship to money, and what does that indicate about what I value? Am I holding on to protect, or am I allowing this sense of equilibrium, like this exchange, right? This give and take. So, and we know if we're basing our value and worth on an external condition, then that external condition has the power. So when we go inward and we allow this sense of this intrinsic set point of value and worth that we can integrate to, that we can connect to, our sense of well-being, when we start there and we open up into this sense of possibility of life, of what's possible, we have a different experience with external conditions. So value for value with the inside world could be this sense of the equilibrium being the sense of enough, not too much, not too little. So we can find that in how we're showing up in breath. So breathing in a way where there's an out and an in, like the ujjayi breath. Creating, consuming in balance, and in our relationship, there's a give and a take, and that could be our relationship in our work world too. Like some of us in the helping professions, we tend to give more than we receive, right? There's just our personalities are just, but we have to be the noticer of our well-being. Like, how can we, anytime you're out of balance, you're going to have indicators that are getting you back to your flow, your sense of equilibrium. And that could be in a moment, and that could be like an overarching kind of thing too. So that takes us to this YouTube. When kids say that they want to be a YouTuber, it can, if you don't understand what that could mean, you could dismiss it, right? But if a YouTuber, there's opportunities for kids to examine their why. Because if they want to open up a channel, why do they want to open up a channel? Do they want to entertain? Do they want to solve a problem? Do they want to just have fun? And then if they are going to create that channel, what's their brand? Like, how do they want to show up and express themselves? So when you create a channel, there's an about, and that's an opportunity for them to examine their values, how they want to show up and express themselves. And if you're a parent, you can create the structure around the YouTube and let them play within the structure. So there's also with the YouTube videos, the executive functions with the videoing, the editing, the uploading, the patience, the continuous change in updates in how the systems work. So there's a lot of problem solving in making videos, editing videos. So just if a kid has a human, that was me, like none of that is my strength. but my desire for an outcome, and my outcome might even just be play, because I was a huge pretend imagination kid, and all of this digital stuff is just an opportunity to play, to be, to just express yourself in ways that are fun and creative and contribute, right? You can't control who responds, but you can control, how you want to show up and express yourself.